today's session, our special guest, Mr. Evren, and we will speak about program management global standards according to Program Management Standards version 5, I think, 5th edition.
5th edition, correct.
The latest standards, and also if you want global credential, we will talk about difficult exam, PgMP exam in the end. For this webinar, guys, you will be receiving certificate, attendance certificates by PMI. So in the end of session, I will share link to you. Please fill in your names, your emails, then we can send your certificates to you. Please try to stay till end of this session. Great. Let's start. Evren hocam. By the way, Mr. Evren and me, long time we manage programs, and we are also certified program management professional by PMI. I think 7 people in Turkey, right? How many people PgMP in Turkey?
20, 21, something.
20. We are the luckiest one out of 20. So we will try to share some information, our experience, and also global standards with this session. And we can do proactively, interactively as well. You can interrupt and ask questions. You can write your questions. I will be facilitator, mentor of these meetings. You can write your questions and we can also discuss those questions. In the end of session also question and answer we will do. Okay, we are very excited. Let's start.
Okay. So first of all, welcome everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. Together we will dive into the specifics of strategic program management as well as review the PMI PgMP certification process together. Please feel free to write your question anytime in the chat. I cannot see it, but Mr. Serkan will remind me. We will also have a Q&A session at the end for a longer period of time. Okay. By the way, there are still some friends joining, so yeah, okay, great. All right, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, first let me introduce myself. I am Evren Ece. You can see some of my major milestones in my life in a film strip starting from 1970s till present. So I was born in 1976 in Istanbul, born and raised actually. I'm married. I have 2 kids, 9-year-old boy and 5-year-old daughter. So I am an industrial engineer. I graduated from a university in 1997, and then I had my master's degree in engineering and technology management in 2003. Since 97 and since the date of my graduation, so I'm in business life, right? It's almost 28.5 years, pretty long time for me. On the top, you can see this briefcase. So it's ongoing since 90s. Probably it will continue if, of course, we live longer to 2030s and more. So most of my life was in the telecommunication business. So I started in Ericsson, January 2000. Then I moved to Nokia, then to Huawei, then to Ericsson again. So almost 22 years I worked in telecom. Then I made a harsh turn and I moved to medical technology industry. And I started working in Boston Scientific as of 2022, more than 4 years ago. I'm working as a senior project manager here, and I'm dealing mainly with the capital equipment projects in EMEA region. So in my life, in this 28.5 years of business life, I spent around, I think, 16 years in project environment. Of course, I didn't start as a project manager. I started as a coordinator. Then I worked as a sub-project manager, and then I moved to project management role when the first PMO office, was created in Ericsson. And since then, I had different roles within the project domain. In parallel to this, I spent almost 1/5 of my business life in supply chain. My first role was demand planning or material planning engineering. So I my last role in supply chain was head of supply in Ericsson for Turkey. I also had a chance to work for procurement environment. I was head of procurement in Nokia. I worked line manager as well in service environment, and of course some military services included in this period of time. So mostly I was working in Turkey in all my roles. However, I spent almost 4.5 years practically working abroad. So I worked a year in Saudi, I worked a year in Algeria, 6 months in Northern Cyprus, I think more than 6 months in CIS countries, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Belarus, and lastly in Azerbaijan, around 1 year. So yeah, this is my quick business summary. Frankly speaking, I love project management. I really like to work as a project manager, program manager, and I really want to improve myself academically and also in this area. That's why I invested myself in the educational part as well. So first I got my PMP certificate in 2019. Actually, it was pretty late for me because I got my first training in 2005. However, due to some role changes, company changes, I didn't have the chance to get into the exam. Okay. So I delayed, and in 2019, I said, I have to get it, and I got it. Last year, thanks to Mr. Serkan, I received my PgMP certificate, May 2005. Since August last year, I'm working as a authorized PMI authorized instructor through NAVESSE, again working with Mr. Serkan. And recently in November, I got my PMO CP certificate, again from PMI. So this is a pretty new certificate for PMI, but it is as a result of acquisition of PMI. They acquired PMO GA company, and that's why they inherited this certificate as well. In parallel to this, I also studied and received these Scrum-related certificates, Professional Scrum Master 1, Product Owner 1, Scrum Foundation, and recently in December, I received this Certified Scrum Master from Scrum Alliance. So I am also trying to invest myself on the Agile domain, as long as I can find some time. All right. So now the subject is strategic program management. So why we say strategic? Because you know there are 3 layers: strategic, tactical, and operational. So we have to put program management in strategic layer, because programs should be totally in line with the organizational strategy. We should not do program just for doing it, right? We should not spend effort. So we have to receive really benefits, which is in favor of the company. We have to create business value for the company. So that's why we said strategic program management. You can see some words on the screen. These are the very popular words you will see or you will hear throughout the presentation. We will try to touch each of them in time. All right, so today, as Mr. Serkan mentioned, I mainly base my presentation on the Standard for Program Management 5th edition. It was published in 2024. However, I also used some data from Portfolio Management, again from PMI 4th edition, published in 2017, and the recent PMBOK Guide edition, 8th edition, which was published just recently. Even hard copies are not even available yet in the global. So in PMI books, if you have PMP certificates, you will probably understand me very well. These books or these contents are based on 3 pillars. The first one is principles. So PMI defines principles for every book or every role. We will touch these in the coming slides about program management principles. Okay, so these are the norms that are expected from the program manager. In parallel to this, PMI always says that we are not a rule book. We are not publishing rule books. This is not a mandatory content you have to follow, but it is prepared based on general consensus of the stakeholders, program manager stakeholders, as well as if you apply these practices mentioned in the books, they are considered as good practices, meaning that they will bring advantage to the organizations. They will create business value. Okay, so that's why I just wanted to highlight this. So there is no must have to in PMI books. It's mainly should, most likely type of terms. Okay. Our agenda today is consisting of 9 sessions, but we will go through quickly, of course. First, we will start with organizational perspective. Then I will try to mention a couple of key definitions, key concepts to you. I will touch base on the program management stakeholders and key roles in program management. I will follow up with the principles that I just mentioned, but on a very high level basis because it's too verbal. We will spend most of our time with the performance domains. These are the domains which programs are managed, executed. All right. And we will spend a special focus on the lifecycle management because this is one of the performance domains, but this is the, I think, the spine of the program management end to end. Then we will touch also PgMP certification, the requirements, the details of the exam, etc. And we will, of course, get your questions. And at the end, a quick wrap up and Q&A. But as I mentioned, you can ask questions anytime you would like. All right? Okay, now moving to organizational perspective as our first chapter. Okay, probably you have seen this before, right? This is called System for Value Delivery. Okay, this is a pyramid. Let's consider this as an organization, guys. At the top, we have the vision. Okay, vision is where we want to go. It is the dream of the organization. It is the point B. Okay, consider that we are at point A, current state. Okay, this is where we want to go. Okay, of course, it's not for tomorrow. It's not for next week. It is mainly for years, even decades. But this is where we see our organization in the future. Okay, what is mission? Mission defines how to go from point A to point B. Okay, the journey. That's why vision and mission are interconnected. They are complementing each other. All right, but these are very high level wordings, right? Expressions. We have to make it something simpler to be digestible, right? And to be manageable. So that's why we have the organizational strategies and objectives. There can be more than one strategy, but strategies are mainly showing us the way how we can achieve this mission, how we can execute this mission and reach our vision in the future. Of course, when there is a strategy, it is expected to have a portfolio because strategies are mainly linked with portfolios. We don't have portfolio management in every company. However, starting from I think 1990s, portfolio management is really a ascending concept, and it has been implemented, especially in the big companies. When you have a portfolio, you will probably have programs, projects, and operations. So these four are pretty interconnected, okay? At the bottom of the pyramid, on the right-hand side, you will see the projectized activities, like programs and projects. These are executed to increase the value production capability of the organization, okay? These are bringing new dimensions, new benefits to the organization. While on the left-hand side, you have the recurring activities, which are the operations. They are producing the values. But definitely, operations should be working closely with programs and projects because what you achieve at the end of the program and projects, it can be an output, outcome, benefit, they are transferred to the operations. For example, you are building a car factory, okay? You want to manufacture an electrical car, right? Building that facility, even building the first car can be a program, or there can be some projects underneath. But after you did it, you should hand over it to the operations, right? Building the second car, third car, etc., blah, blah. It is the assembly line work, right? It is operations. So program and project is over. But when there is a new model you want to implement, of course, then you have to create a new project or program based on the detail. So all the organizational resources should be linked to these operations, programs, and projects in an organization, logically. There are definitely back office roles, okay, which we don't see it here, right? Supply chain, like HR. Of course, they are of course all in this pyramid, but they are not specifically emphasized here in this picture. To make to have us understand it much better, I wanted to give an example. I asked Microsoft Copilot, just write me some visions, mission statements, some objectives, programs, okay? And it really created good outputs, right? In a minute, to be honest with you. Okay, here is an example from healthcare industry, okay? On the top, we have the vision. So the Copilot proposes that to create a world where every individual enjoys equitable access to personalized, high-quality healthcare that enhances lifelong well-being. Pretty strong vision, right? Equitable access to health care, high-quality healthcare, lifelong well-being. So I think this is really logical for an organization to take as a vision. So what is the vision example? Mission example, sorry. We empower healthier communities by delivering safe, innovative, patient-centered healthcare services supported by advanced technology, compassionate, professional, data-driven decisions. So this is showing us how we want to go to our vision by doing what. Okay, I think this is also logical. But as you see, these are very high level. These are good statements, but these are not easily digestible and manageable. That's why we should have some strategies. So here, Copilot proposed two strategies. One of them was digital health transformation. So modernizing the care ecosystem through seamless digital technologies. And under that, it assigned one portfolio, digital health and innovation portfolio, technology-driven improvements to care delivery, data intelligence, and patient accessibility. So this is our portfolio. And under that portfolio, we have two programs, Virtual Care Expansion Program and Enterprise Data Analytics Modernization Program. And you can see the projects underneath. So this is how it works, okay? From a very high level statement down to a very granular detail on the project level. And under the projects, you have the tasks, of course, work breakdown structures, etc. So this is just to give you an idea about what I am talking about in the previous slide. And this is the second example, which I will not spend time on it. What is important here, guys? Okay, maybe generally, maybe 80-90% of the cases under the strategy, we have the portfolio, then the programs, and then the projects. This is maybe the traditional mindset. However, it doesn't need to be like that. In some cases, like in the middle, if you see in the middle, there are some projects directly reporting to portfolio because programs are comprised of related projects. So if there is an unrelated project, you can keep it under the portfolio. And even on the right-hand side, there is no portfolio. So programs and projects are directly linked to the strategy department or a C-level role. Okay, and at the bottom you can see the operations. So operations are normally under portfolio, but of course, if there is no portfolio, it should be working hand in hand with the programs and projects. So this is three different scenarios which can happen in real life. All right.
Also, we can say that portfolio managers is the highest level powerful person in the organization, right? We can say this as well. Portfolio managers.
Definitely. It is he or she is the closest person to the C-level at the end of the day.
Yeah, we can call them C-level portfolio managers,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I want to give you some definitions of what we have talked a few minutes ago. Okay. Actually, these are the four key definitions that I want to go through. A portfolio, first of all, right? It's a collection of programs, projects, operations. So there are three main components. Okay. So why do we have portfolios? We want to maximize our value delivery. We want to achieve our strategic objectives. We want to meet any mandatory obligations, for example, regulatory obligations, country-specific requirements. And of course, we want to generate income streams, increase our revenue, right? This is the main aim of the organizations, right? So portfolios are directly linked with the strategy, okay? They cannot be independent of the strategy. When it comes to program, it's a group of related projects and program activities manage in a coordinated way to obtain benefits not available from managing them individually. So the important words are in bold letters. Okay. First of all, the projects under the program should be related. Actually, according to the book, they should be interdependent. Okay. We should not put unrelated projects under the same program. We will not have an synergy because the idea of program is to achieve synergy. Okay. That's in the definition. We want to obtain benefits not available from managing them individually. All right. This is important for the program. When it comes to project, and this is the latest definition, it's a temporary initiative in a unique context undertaken to create value. So first of all, project is temporary, guys. The project cannot last forever. There is a start date, there is an end date, okay? And it should create a unique contest, a unique result, okay? So we should not, and doing the same thing all the time is not a project. There should be something unique in the deliverables, okay? And always we have to create some value for the organization, guys. That's why they changed the definition of project in the new PMO guide, okay? And finally, operations. So they are ongoing repetitive activities that sustain a business, deliver value, and maintain products and services. So operations are, as you see, repetitive, ongoing, right? Similar activities. We do it to sustain a business and again, continue delivering value for the company. And of course, keep our products and services in shape. These are the definitions. Of course, today
I have some question in this
Sure.
part. Very good part here. We have in organization we call them components. What are the components? Maybe unique projects, single
I will
projects.
come to that in the next slide.
Okay. And operation. My question, what are the benefits to manage those under program? Without program, why we cannot manage them separately, Mr. Evren? What are the benefits?
For example,
to manage them under one program or under such programs, what are the benefits of this?
Okay, first we have to understand the definition of program very well, okay? So related projects and program activities. So relatedness is crucial here. What do we mean by relatedness? The output of one project is the input of another. Or they are sharing the same resources, or they are using the same funding, or they are creating the same deliverable or benefit to the customer, but from different angles, okay? So you can, of course, manage them separately, but the idea here is if you manage them together, you can create the synergy. You can, for example, maybe reduce the cost of the resources, right? By sharing them. You can use your funds better. You don't need to wait for one project to finish, then the other project starts. So you can align the timelines in advance. Okay? That's what interdependency is. So by this way, using the program logic, you can get a better benefit, higher benefit, which you don't expect. So that's why it is 1 + 1 is more than 2 in this case.
Thank you.
Actually, welcome. Next question, I will give a little more information about the program components, which Serkan may mention. So program management is application of whatever we know about projects, programs, and we apply it on the program components, okay? So what is a program component? There are 3 program components, guys. The first one is we always talk about the projects, okay? They should be related, interdependent, but there can also be subsidiary programs under programs. For example, you are building a new car, and you are managing it as a project, but you can consider the building of the motor of the car as a subsidiary program, okay? Because making the motor, manufacturing the motor is pretty tough, right? So you can approach it like a subsidiary program, and that subsidiary program can have its own projects, program-related activities, etc. Same logic. That's why programs can include other programs as well. Same like portfolios can include sub-portfolios. And the third component is program-related activities. So which normally we don't see practically, like trainings, planning, reporting, accounting, auditing, administration, human resources. So they are also a part of the program. So they should be also managed under the program as a program-related activity. Okay. So these are the three components. Of course, the biggest ones are mainly the projects, of course. They are creating the deliverables. However, we should also consider the other aspects accordingly. Okay, how do we initiate programs, guys? How do we recognize them? How do we initiate them? Normally, there are two ways to initiate programs, okay? The first one is top-down approach. The other one is bottom-up approach. What's a top-down approach in this manner? You already have a high level of project management maturity in your organization, okay? So you work with this, vision, mission, strategy, portfolio, etc. And when there is a new business coming, or when you want to execute a new business, you automatically start it as a program from scratch, okay? So you first initiate the program, and then you initiate the projects or components underneath. So this is top-down approach, mainly for the high mature organizations. Secondly, we have the bottom-up approach here. It is like, it can also be in the mature organizations, by the way, but it is like, you have projects ongoing, but after a while, you realize that you cannot manage it that way. You have to do something. You have to consolidate them to get a higher benefit, okay? That's why you initiate a program. So this is the opposite of the top-down approach. So you have the projects this time first, then you consolidate them and start managing them as a program. I want to give an example here. When I was in telecommunications, we had 4G network deployment, 2015, 2019. Sorry, 2015, 2016. And first we started this 4G net deployment project as a project, okay? But after a while, we realized that it is too big to be a project, okay? There are so many ingredients, so many dynamics going on within the project. And personally, as a project manager, I couldn't reach all those details. For example, the radio rollout. For example, the core network rollout, transmission rollout, babysitting, training, supply chain. So we said that let's put a couple of more project managers in the organization. And I turned into a program manager in a while. It doesn't exactly fit the definition, but we started to manage it as a program rather than a project. Because, for example, without the radio rollout, without the core network rollout, you cannot have radio rollout. Okay? Without the transmission, the sites are not working, etc. So everything has interdependency. So we said that let's work it in a different way. And I had, I think, 5 or 6 project managers working in the project program, while it was only me in the beginning. So this is just one example, a bottom-up approach example from my personal life. Okay. Okay. Differences between portfolios, program, and project. This is important, guys, because sometimes we are really confusing these words. Okay, but I think this will give you some kind of a bandwidth to understand the main differences between portfolio and programs. Okay, there are 2 big differences between portfolios and programs: relatedness and time. Portfolios have may have independent components. Okay, you can put different programs under a portfolio if they serve for the strategy. Okay, but in the program, we don't have that luxury. The program components should be related or interdependent. Okay, that's why independent versus interdependent. This is one of the biggest differences between portfolios and programs. The second one is time. Portfolios have a longer life cycle. Okay, it can even continue for decades if the strategy is the same. Programs can enter, can go out, etc. It's mainly ongoing, but programs are temporary endeavors. Why? Because projects are temporary endeavors. So at the end of the day, those projects sum up to programs. That's why programs are more temporary in that manner. So these are the 2 big differences. When it comes to programs and projects, certainly you can find many maybe other details, but there are mainly three topics, okay? Uncertainty, change, managing change, and complexity. So projects don't like uncertainty, okay? Maybe we don't also like personally uncertainty, but projects always want to mitigate those kind of uncertainties, okay? Anything, risks, for example, right? We have a risk register. We want to always have a plan to mitigate those risks immediately, especially if you work in a predictive approach. You always like to mitigate it immediately. But programs embrace uncertainty because there is no only negative risk. There is also positive risk, meaning that negative risk results in a threat, but positive risk results in opportunity. So programs always look uncertainty as an option for opportunities. Okay, that's why programs has a more bandwidth to manage uncertainties. Okay, this is the first thing. Second thing is change. As programs are more on the strategic and tactical level, the change they are more sensitive to change because the change in the program is much bigger than the change in the project because projects are more on the tactical and operational level. Okay, so it takes harder for programs to manage the change. What I mean by change is the change in the, let's say, scope, change in the iron triangle aspects, quality, etc. Those kind of details. Okay, this is the second stuff, and the third thing is complexity. Again, programs have a more complex structure than projects because projects are more lower in the hierarchy. It doesn't mean that projects are unvalued, okay, invalued, but they are lower in the chain, right, food chain. That's why the complexity in the program is higher because it consists of several projects. Okay, the advantage of one of the biggest advantage of programs are they are higher in the hierarchy, as I mentioned. Okay, they are higher to the C level. That's why when they have a problem, when they need something, they can easily reach to the correct person in the board, as an example, and ask for that. It can be a dispute with other programs. It can be a resource issue. It can be a funding issue. So as they are closer to the top level, they have this advantage. But projects, it is harder for them to make these big changes in their life cycles. All right. Okay, now moving to stakeholders and key roles. Actually, these are not foreign terms to you. As a program manager in the middle of this sphere, you have your program team, of course, to help you during the program management. On the top, you have the program steering committee and program sponsor that who you report to, right? Who you are reporting, who you are accountable to. Okay, and under the program manager role, we have the project organization, right? Project managers, project teams, PMO, funding organization, perform delivery organization, etc. So these are mainly reporting to the program manager. There are also other stakeholders, of course. First of all, customers, right? Potential customers, because programs are not static. There can be new projects coming and going entering and exiting from the programs. Okay, that's why there can be potential customers as well. All suppliers, government authorities, resource managers, employees of the company, all of them are the stakeholders of the program manager. So this is a very key role, guys. Program manager role is a very key role because there are so many stakeholders you have to manage. And the key roles are, the most important roles are mentioned here. So first of all, program sponsor, okay? It can be an individual or a group, but normally it's an individual who is providing the resource, the funding, the support for the program and is accountable for the success. So program sponsor cannot say that the program manager failed, I don't care. Program sponsor is as accountable as program manager as well, okay? And program sponsor is normally a member of the SteerCo and probably a C-level person. That's why he or she has really high authority in the organization, okay? As I mentioned, there is program steering committee. So this is a committee, including sponsor, but they are mainly the decision makers. Okay, especially these gate reviews, right? From going from definition phase to delivery phase to closure phase. You have to get the governance board or steering committee approval. It's also called program governance board in practical examples. Program manager, it is us in this case. There is PGMO, Program Management Office. PGMO is in this context, it is a management structure that standardize the program-related governance processes. Okay, and they facilitate the sharing of resources, methodology, tools, and techniques. So they are more on the supportive mode. We can say that. We definitely have project managers because project managers are really key for program manager for success. At the end, if the project fails, the program may fail as well. And other stakeholders. Depends, of course. It can be for example, you are building a park for the municipality. You can have stakeholders from the municipality or from the public NGOs, right? You can have such stakeholders as well. So, as I said, program manager role is pretty strategic compared to project manager role.